do what you are doing now, traveling and going to...
Not really, no, which is too bad because more people should. But many people choose to do something like this after they graduate university. So that is more common, but not like in Europe and Australia. Many people choose to go after high school. They do a whole year where they travel and maybe do some volunteering or just partying, and then they go to university. So.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions you may have?
Psychology.
Okay, so feel free. Because if you want to make a comment in Spanish, feel free.
Okay, con despacio.
Your practice, your Spanish. ¿Qué diferencia hay entre lo que viste en Estados Unidos y el resto de Latinoamérica?
¿El qué?
El resto, donde estuviste en Ecuador, Perú y Argentina. Which is the difference?
Yes. Well, in Peru, I was not at a school. I was working with orphans that didn't go to normal school. So I was the only teacher. And so they were teenagers and they had never been to school before. So they were learning very basic things. For being 15 and 16 years old, they were doing addition and subtraction and very, very basic level. And in Ecuador, it was better. It was more organized and the teachers were better. I was at 2 schools in Ecuador. The first one was very good. All the teachers there, I worked with English teachers, and they were good, and they knew a lot of English, and they started teaching them from a young age. And the other school I went to was very bad. The English teacher there his English was not as good as yours. It was not good, and so they were learning English that was not correct all the time. It was a very basic level of English, and so. I think here it's much a higher level and it's much more organized and people, they care more about the education than in the other places.
Solamente fuiste a clases de inglés.
Ah, sí.
Y ahora lo voy a pensar. ¿Y qué diferencia ves en cuanto al trato? En cuanto a incluir a otros, a extranjeros, dentro de un grupo. Acá en Latinoamérica y allá en Estados Unidos.
I think here in Latin America, it's a bigger deal to be from someone from another country. But in the U.S., we have so many people from different places that it's not as exciting. And so my Spanish teachers, one was from Ecuador, one was from Argentina, and I had a chemistry teacher from England. There was a Chinese teacher from China, so we had people from all over the world, so it wasn't as exciting as it is here. Yeah. ¿Algo más?
What do you think, in your experience in these days, here in San Jose, what do you think about our teachers and our English level? Okay, let's
teachers here are very good. No, I think the level of English is very high. So you learn, you're learning correctly, and you're not just doing, I am happy, I am sad, you know. Yes, of course. And so you, I think it's probably better than most Spanish instruction in the U.S. So when people learn Spanish in the U.S., the first 2 to 3 years, it's just very simple sentences. Very simple. Yo estoy feliz. And they don't really learn how to have a conversation and just speak. They have to think about everything before, and you've learned better. So I think it's a very high level of instruction. Very good.
Okay.
One more time?
What's the punctuation? I don't know if that's the word. You need to approve an exam. In university.
So there's an A is 90% to 100% correct. B is 80% to 90% or 89%. And then a C is 70 to 79. D is 60 to 69, and F is 60 and below. So D and above is passing. So you pass your exam if you get a D and higher. But it depends on the school, because different schools have they use different numbers for their different percentages for the different grades. And some use the plus and minus system. So a B plus would be 87 to 89, and a B minus would be 82 to 80%. So and then they calculate things differently with plus and minus. So some schools it's very easy to calculate your grades, and others it's more complicated because they use many different levels.
With board instruction, you approve for child?
I don't know.
In Santa Fe, approve the exam with C.
Okay.
C is 6.
Okay.
6 or 7.
Yeah. So some schools you can only pass if you have higher than a C. So a C and below is failing. So or D and below is failing. I know in my university, if you get below a C minus, then in the class, then you fail. So you need to take it over, or but it really depends on the school or the university where you're studying.
In here, it depends on the mood of the professor.
Yeah, no, it does too. Back in the U.S. So yeah, you were at 89.9%. They can either round up or leave it there. Sometimes it depends if they like you or not. Yeah.
Do you have exams to enter the university?
Well, they're not necessarily to enter, but they have what's called the SAT and the ACT, and those are two standardized tests that are required a.m. on Saturday morning, and they're 5 hours or 6 hours long. Anything. I know in the for both. So it's just a test that a private company gives, and it's usually a requirement for all universities to take one or the other, so they can see, other than your grades, how smart you are. And so they have, on the SAT, they have math, reading, comprehension, critical thinking, which is like problem solving and stuff, and then an essay. And on the ACT, it's different. They have a math section, a science section, which is like graphs and charts, an essay, I think you have to write as well, and reading, and maybe one more. I'm not sure. But yes. And so many people take with private tutors or preparation classes because it's not enough to just study by yourself, or for many people it's not. And so because there's certain ways to take the test that will give you a better score if you learn certain methods of how to take the test. No, no, I don't. From my high school, no, it is, because there's so many universities that many will accept you even if you have not the best grade. So, for example, we have our grade system is usually at 4.4 points, or 4.0 is the highest, which is all A's, and there are many universities that will take you if you have a 1.5 or a 2.0. So even if you are not that good, you can still be accepted into many universities, yes. And they take the SAT scores are low as well. And of course there's universities where you need to have a 4.0 and a perfect score. Well, not a perfect score, but a very high score on your SAT to be accepted.
How many hours spent in the high school?
So it always depends on the school, but I know well, my school, we had kind of a different schedule than other schools because we had what's called block schedules. So you wouldn't have the same classes every day. So your schedule would change, but most days I think we started at 8:45 and went till 3:30 or 2:45, depending on what day it is. But public schools, normally they have the same schedule every day, so they start at 8 or 8:15 or 8:30, or maybe 7:45 or something like that. They go till 2:45 or sometimes 3 o'clock or 3:30. So anywhere from 7:45 to 3:30 is the usual days, usually 8 to 3.
Okay, thank you again.
You're welcome.